So here we are, January 9th, year 2020, early in the decade. And from an Opportunity Zone standpoint, we're just getting started. For the recording, my name is Karl Dakin. I am the host for this Opportunity Zone Meetup, and I'll be doing the presentation tonight. And we're going to be focused on the subject of setting capital goals. We'll get into high detail on what that means and why it's important, how that fits into raising money in an Opportunity Zone capital raise, and why it can make a difference as we're seeing more and more people raising money for Opportunity Zones. It becomes important to differentiate yourself from everybody else. And part of the way of differentiating yourself is to be able to explain lucidly what you're going to do with all the money you're trying to raise, and to describe it in enough detail that people feel comfortable that you understand what you're doing, how their money is going to be deployed, and that rises your credibility when they're compared with someone who said, just give me the money, and can't explain what the money is going to be used for. And I don't mean that too casually, because too often, as we're looking at different deals, we get a number and you ask them, well, what is it you're going to spend it on? And they almost seem offended that they have to explain it, and they can't explain it. And when you ask really good questions like, well, why are you spending it on that? And then they can't answer it. If you're the investor, you lose interest very, very quickly because you're thinking there's 8,700 Opportunity Zones in the United States, potentially tens of thousands of funds I could invest in. I will not invest in this one. So you move on to somebody else. It's always good to remember that this is a highly competitive marketplace that requires that if you're raising capital, you're going to put your best foot forward, and that requires, among other things, that you understand how much money or capital you're trying to raise and be able to communicate that effectively to the people who may share an interest in what you're trying to do. So with that, we'll move in to the program tonight. This will be part one of tonight's program. Classically, we will move through the program in about 2 hours. We'll take breaks between each section of the program so that we have time to reset the video recording gear. This program is recorded, and upon editing, it'll be posted up on YouTube, where everybody will have a chance to see it and listen to it. And in the meantime, we will take the slide deck from tonight. It'll be posted up to the members of this meetup group. And for anybody who happens to be watching this video, once it's recorded, I'll remind you that you can join this group for free. There is no charge. And we're currently providing this as a free service to everyone who has an interest in Opportunity Zones, and particularly in setting up and managing an Opportunity Zone project, whether they're from a funding side or they're from a management side. And we're continuing to push forward case studies and examples and issues so that we can better take advantage of this particular legislation and put it to use to positively impacting the communities that have been designated with this status. So thank you all for coming tonight. Appreciate your being here. I think you'll find this of interest, and then throughout the program tonight, some of these elements will be put in context, and also in context of not only what you're doing, but some of the larger programs that are taking place now as we're seeing more and more people do things with Opportunity Zones. So we have a number of sponsors for tonight's program. We're always looking for more. So if you happen to be a service provider, economic development agency, or someone else who's active in this area, feel free to contact me. My contact information will be within the slide deck. And let's talk about how we can get your name up front here and in front of the entire world when they watch the YouTubes, to all 7 billion plus people. So with that said, one of the hats I wear is I'm a consultant. I work in the design, staging, and development management of capital campaigns. And I work with both Opportunity Zone, non-Opportunity Zone, business, and even including government programs, community projects, and others. And I also work with leadership of a number of different companies, some of which will be talked about here in a moment. And we're also going to be talking about skills training, specifically with regard to raising capital, also more tonight. One of the other sponsors is Invest New Mexico. This is an Opportunity Zone management company in the state of New Mexico, working with small businesses there, as a lot of us are working here in Colorado. I'm an advisor to this group and helping them set up new funds and different types of funds as we try to match all the types of capital with all the types of opportunities that exist within that state. And the newest and latest, and Ron, this is the first time you've seen the smoke was inside the globe. This is me having too much time on a weekend to tinker with our logo. That's supposed to be green smoke, but for some reason the TIFF wouldn't work that way. But anyhow, not to digress too terribly much and contribute to the fatigue factor I'm working with tonight. We have a brand new company. We launched it in October. It's called the Colorado Center for Innovation and Community Capital. Its primary mission is to improve access to capital for small businesses in the state of Colorado by making capital available to conduct a capital campaign. So rather giving money or other resources to a small business, we are focused solely upon helping them successfully complete a capital campaign by advancing the cost of the campaign and providing the talent to operate and manage the campaign, overcoming the common issues that most small businesses have of lack of time, money, and knowledge when raising money. So we're just ramping up right now. We're putting together all the things. You can go to our website, which is being added to on a daily basis. But we hope to be a major player in this area, fill the gap between 500,000 and 5 million and for small businesses raising money. And later in the year, we're looking to add another fund for non-Opportunity Zone small businesses within the state of Colorado. So that brings us then to part one of tonight's program, where we talk about updates, upgrades, and showcase. And so from an update standpoint, many of you in December saw the third set of proposed regulations come out on opportunity zones, and all 544 pages of that, which we were discussing before tonight's program, and some of the interpretations of it and some of the clarifications that came out of it as the IRS continues to try to frame what this opportunity is about, what tax incentives apply, when they think that the money's not working hard enough in a community to qualify for the tax incentives. And this is continuing to evolve. We saw some proposed legislation late last year that was suggesting they want more feedback on the true impact in a community that's taking place, and we anticipate that upcoming legislation was going to add to the reporting requirements for both the Opportunity Zone funds, which in turn will cascade down to requiring that the Opportunity Zone businesses and properties will need to transfer that information to the fund so they can adequately report. We have been able to verify that at this time, even though there are two timelines in the year when money must be deployed, June 30th and December 31st, there is no commensurate reporting form that goes with that. So currently when the fund reports taxes at its annual tax date, it will include a form with it, Form 8996, which includes the data that where the money went and where it was deployed. And commensurate with that, each investor will do an 8946 form that says we took part of our money that would otherwise be taxable this year, we put it into a qualified Opportunity Zone fund, and therefore we're not taxable at the moment. And the IRS will correlate those and audit those. That doesn't make any sense. We went through a number of people who are doing end-of-the-year filings and trying to verify with the IRS. There are no other forms that we can find that need to be filed. There isn't a June 30th form or filing date or anything along that line. Program-wise, a lot of things are starting to pop at various places. So in December, the state of Colorado put out a bid for contracts for someone to step up and support up to 10 small businesses who are in opportunity zones in conducting capital campaigns. And that bid was due December 20th. On behalf of the Colorado Center for Innovation and Community Capital, we did submit a bid, and we survived the first cut, so we get to do an interview next week, and hopefully we will win the day, and we may survive to yet another round in the evaluation. But this is an interesting part where Colorado is starting to put larger chunks of money towards helping businesses and properties in the state. This one is not limited to rural communities, but it's preferentialized towards rural communities where they need more help. And other states are doing similar things. And as we were also talking about earlier, in New Mexico, New Mexico is now matching $1 for every $4 raised into a fund down there of an equity style. So monies are coming available now from the states. Budgets are being modified to support this. And then at the same time, at the federal level, each of the agencies is being told, make this work, make this successful. So we're seeing monies come into this from EDA. We're seeing it come in from HUD and other programs where there are people designated tasked with supporting with or matching money from their programs with Opportunity Zone monies to make this all come together. So things are picking up momentum, however slowly, since we're now entering the third year of this particular program, but it's starting to crystallize that people get a better feel for where it's at and what's doable as things evolve. One of the things we've been working on is in this group, and me in particular, is that as good as Opportunity Zone tax incentives are, there may be a need to either focus them, enhance them, or upgrade them to deal with a couple issues. One of them is that a lot of investors, most investors to be accurate, are concerned with a 10-year investment period. And it's longer than they're used to. It makes them a little bit illiquid. They think it's their general perception in the capital industry that longer investments are riskier than shorter investments, which may not be true at all. But that's the perception. So we're saying, what can we do to mitigate risk? What can we do to lower the possibility that the long haul on this will not turn against you in investment? So we're working on some things there. We're also trying to look at things that would enhance the ROI to investors so that this can compete even better for investment over other investments that are out there that are not opportunity zones. And we're continuing to work on this because we see this as an area of focus in order to gain the best advantage of this tax incentive. One of the things we have talked about throughout the year and we're talking to different groups about is an innovation hub. This is a concept where you have an opportunity zone business and an opportunity zone property merged together under a common element so that you have the benefit of a real estate investment coupled with the potential upside of investing in an opportunity zone business where you stand a greater potential of getting all those profits or appreciation tax-free and thereby enhancing the ROI to the overall project. So we are talking with different groups about doing this. We don't have one in motion at the current time, but I'm fairly certain the next couple months we will. Another one is workforce housing. This has been an ongoing topic in that every community that we know of that is in an opportunity zone has a workforce housing shortage. The laws that set up the government subsidies for affordable housing are not working in many communities due to a difference between increases in real estate prices relative to associated income. And so we're trying to advance a private sector funded model, non-subsidized model with employer participation where the employers will guarantee the buyout of the property from the opportunity zone investors sometime during the 10 years or at the end of the 10-year term, and then be able to flip that over to the employees with an employee benefit program that will create a rent-to-own or wealth-building capacity within the program that's generally not done within the affordable housing market. There's some other upgrades we're talking about, but I'm going to fold them into some of the later part of the program. I'll point out at this point in the program, we give people who have an Opportunity Zone fund or a project of some kind, business or property, an opportunity to do a showcase here. So at our holiday bucket party, we invited everybody to do presentations. We had 8 or 9, I think, by the time we got done, and a great diversity of types of businesses and locations from across Colorado. And so we're probably going to repeat this at least once a quarter going forward in 2020, where we have nothing but showcases going forward. But if you have something and you would like to be up here, we'll give you 5 minutes and you can do a short slide deck presentation. And again, if you're seeing the video and listening to this presentation, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to work with you to get your slide deck put into the program and give you a chance to show what you're doing. For tonight, I'm going to give you an even deeper look at the Colorado Center for Innovation and Community Capital, partly because we want you to understand what it is and how it might benefit you or any of your projects if we can match up correctly. But we've also embedded in this program 2 or 3 of the upgrades and enhancements that I've talked about. So I'm going to go through this briefly. So right now, we're running, we've set up an Opportunity Zone fund. We made the conscious choice to limit the fund to accredited investors because we wanted the ability to publicize the offering and not be restricted to a private offering. Many of you may have seen that in December, the SEC made a very bold statement that they are prepared to change the requirements on becoming a accredited investor. Now, I'm a little bit cautious about this because it's been talked about for about 15 years, but they may be on the brink of actually implementing changes which would make it easier for people, particularly those who are knowledgeable in making investments, to qualify as an accredited investor without a wealth factor being taken into consideration. So the accredited investor may change a lot here during 2020. But in this case, we've set up a fund. We're raising money now. Where it can talk about it because it's an accredited investment style thing under 506C of the SEC rules. And anybody who's interested in participating in this investment is free to contact me, and we can talk to you about the very interesting way that we approach what we're doing and its investment potential, and more importantly, its impact on helping small businesses in the state of Colorado. The investment is a 10-year investment. We're looking to raise money for businesses where we come in and provide the talent and the money to conduct the capital campaign. The general 3 criteria we're looking for us to provide our services is that there has to be a reasonably high probability that you can actually successfully raise $500,000 or more. Below that dollar amount, we could provide the services, but our cost of services relative to the money raised gets a little too high. And we're also, we're looking at $5 million probably on the upside, but we're already talking to projects that are up to $10 million and maybe over $10 million, and that's fine. We're happy to talk to those. But we're also looking for ones that have a positive impact on their community. So in our current selection process, which we have now are up, you can go to our website, you can sign up and complete the first survey, which will walk you through some basic questions about who you are so we can tell if you may qualify for our program. If so, we'll put you under a confidentiality agreement. We'll have you run through a second survey, which is far more rigorous, and to verify that you are someone that we can work with. And then we do a personal interview, and then we'll start you into the process, which will cover what we're going to be doing tonight. So the 4th part of the application process is reaching a mutual agreement on a capital goal for your campaign. And if we can agree upon that, then we will put you into our boot camp and a sprint to raise your money. One of the things we're doing, which is one of the upgrades and is getting a lot of attention from people, is we want this business to succeed because part of our fee is stock in that business that we're going to hold for the 10-year term of an opportunity zone. And so at the end of the 10 years, for us to be compensated, that business needs to be alive, existing, hopefully thriving, and doing well. But we wanted to protect the investors, do what we could to mitigate the risk in the investment. And so we are working with Unbridled Wealth, a wealth management company, and the use of whole life insurance to mitigate the risk by having the small business take out a whole life policy, name a founder or one of the key people as the insured, but we are named as a beneficiary. So in the event that the leader of the company should die or be disabled, we will get paid out, our investors will get paid out. If there's a potential interruption in the business or the business starts to fail, we will have the ability to take over the policy to, again, assure that there is cash available. And we will be able to borrow against 100% of the cash value of that policy during its entire life. So we actually have access to the cash that's in the cash value of the policy, which also gives us more cash freedom to work with. There's a number of other benefits to this that come out of that, not to mention the fact that a lot of small businesses never take out this kind of insurance on their key people. And if there were to be the misfortune of a death or disability, that business will benefit as well. So this is one of the things that we think will greatly de-risk the 10-year life and assure that there's money there to buy back the stock from us at least a value twice what we took it at the beginning of the 10-year period. We're also going to be doing skills training. And one of the things we're doing there is we're going to put on a boot camp on raising capital, following our 10-step process. Each of our clients will get to participate in the boot camp, but this will be open to the public for a fee. We're going to go through 10 direct weeks. We're going to video record and post these up online, which will be available by subscription. And we're going to be very intentional in teaching a methodology that is logical, rational, and not dependent upon serendipity or other things beyond your control, to try to get to a point where you can go, yes, I can pretty much tell you how we're going to go about raising the money. There's still no guarantee in this, but we're going to remove a lot of the common elements that challenge or prevent a business from raising money within this process. The other thing we're going to do is we're setting up a capital matching platform. And this is essentially where we'll take the information from a business, we'll capture all the information on every capital source that we're aware of, and we do an online matching capability like speed dating to determine if there is someone who actually has a type of capital for a business at that point of its life cycle that could be a candidate. It's not a final cut, but it is a kind of a preview or quick cut, and that can tell us whether or not there's anybody out there to talk to, or we may need to relook at the campaign altogether. But this will be one of the things that we're going to set up as a subsystem that will greatly reduce the cost of raising capital and improve the probability of success. All these things working together are going to give us an ability to help small businesses raise money, and those in opportunity zones will be among those who will benefit from that. So that gets me through part one of tonight's program. That was a quick overview of like a showcase using one of our own projects as an example. If you should have something, please talk to me. We'd like to get some more programs up here so the entire world can see your project and contact you. We'll take a short break.